Yeah, a lot of buttons.
Yeah, that's why it's so easy to push them. Is that cheesy? Is that a dad joke?
That might be.
Yeah. I got lots of dad. I mean, I am a dad of 3. I have lots of dad jokes.
Keep them rolling, buddy.
The volume down. We're not going to have a problem. Okay. Let's roll it.
This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
Welcome to the Okayest Hunter podcast. Coming from the Oconomowoc studio.
The Okayest Hunter podcast studio.
Oconomowoc and Okayest. They kind of go together.
Say from your mom's basement.
Yeah, I could be. This could be my mom's basement. You guys have no idea. Like, yeah. I mean, really, that's funny when you see this thing on TV, the few people that have come in here, they're like, so this is it, huh? I'm like, yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, this is it.
Nothing special.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing but studs and drywall from the backside.
Just a room in my basement.
Yep.
Yeah, because I didn't finish the backside.
Not at all.
Can we get you to go a little closer? I had to do this with Derek the other day.
You want it scratching?
That's where I want it, right there.
Oh, and it's gone.
Right by your mouth.
And it's back.
Real close. I want it somewhere in or around your mouth. I'm just kidding. Not in your mouth. That'd
now
be
it
weird.
just got weird again.
It's just a quote from Superbad. It's not that weird.
It's fine.
People know that movie. People don't forget.
That's right. A show.
Oh, welcome to the show, folks. Thanks for tuning back in. If you're a first timer, we're sorry that you're here. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully you're happy to be here. We are brought to you by Spartan Forge. We talk about their app quite a bit. I ran into some other hunters at the boat launch on Sunday, and they're like, whoa, how did you just change to a different time? Because it went from, seeing greenery to like brown deer trails and no leaves on trees, no foliage. And they're like, well, this would be good for duck hunting. I'm like, yeah, if you're a duck hunter, maybe.
Good for a lot of things.
Yeah, precisely. So SpartanForge.ai, you can use code OHP. You're going to save yourself 20% off on your annual membership. And the way that works, just so I spell it out because it can be confusing, go to SpartanForge.ai first, sign up. You can enter your discount code there. If you go to your app store, whether that's the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and do all that, you're not going to have that ability to enter in that discount code. So sign up on the website first. Then when you go to download the app, you'll have your user login information. Your discount will be applied. It's magical. There you go. You're saving 20%. So that's that. I wanted to make sure I explained that. We're also in partnership with a couple other brands that we love. Latitude Outdoors for our saddles, and soon to be saddle platforms.
Right.
Because we had Alex on recently. He's like, oh yeah, I'll send you guys some platforms. I'm just kidding.
We'll see.
And I remember people ask me about it again at the boat launch. Oh, is that a saddle? I'm like, yeah, it sure is. So you just wear that out you just wear it out like that?
Hold on a second. I got a horse coming.
And it's great. It's great for, you can wear it out, and well, you can wear it out. You can wear it out into the woods on your way to the stand.
Absolutely.
The reason that I like theirs, or one of the many reasons, is you can unclip the strap that connects from front to back that pinches the old boys there.
Mm-hmm.
You can remove that altogether on your trek in and out, so you don't have to worry about that, which is nice. Just remember to put it on when you get out there by your tree, because if you don't have that, you're going to slip right through your damn thing.
You could.
So just a nice reminder.
You're a man with no ass at all.
And then Vector Custom Shop, I am eagerly awaiting letting an arrow fly. I always knock one when I go, but I was ready to draw back on a buck on Sunday.
Exciting.
Very exciting. I just picked the wrong tree, and it just didn't work out the best way that it could have. It almost did, though. My dad said, you're in the game. You're just right there. You're
just off in left field, and they're hitting everything to the right.
Pretty much. So I'm in the field. I mean, that buck was 15, 20 yards from me. Just no shot opportunity unless he stepped out, and he never did, which is why he's probably big and still alive.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works.
Yeah. I passed on a nice 8-pointer. He's probably a 2-year-old buck. He came right 4 yards, and it would have been a real easy frontal shot, but it wasn't a deer I wanted to shoot. Missed a doe on Friday, missed a doe yesterday. So not doing the best shooting wise, but I'm seeing deer.
Trying to think of a nickname. The doe misser.
Yeah.
Don't miss around. Doe miss around. Does that work? No. Okay, I'll just stop.
really.
I'm sorry. And GoWild. When you tag that doe, you can tag that trophy on
We
GoWild.
can go wild.
And when you do so, you'll earn a bunch of points, which you can cash in for a monetary discount, or even get some stuff for free completely. If you have enough points, you could just bankroll that to buy a new something, whatever you're into, because they have a lot of stuff over there.
That's all right.
Buy yourself an OKS Hunter hat, actually, if you wanted to.
I might need it.
Which I'll make an announcement, and then we're going to bring in our guests, and we're going to get into the show here. We got green buffalo plaid fleece flannel koozies now. They just came in. Was that yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made the post yesterday.
Yeah, and I didn't have time to take pictures of them, so I just photoshopped the red ones into green ones.
You are a master.
I was like, you know what I can do? I was laying in my son's bed after he passed out, and I pulled up my phone. I was like, I'm going to edit this right now. And that's what I did. And then I didn't have to come down here and take my camera out and mess around and plug it in my computer and do all this stuff. I'll do that later.
Now that the general public knows you can do that, are you going to be, they might think if you shoot a big buck, he photoshopped it.
I'm not that good. Changing colors of something is easy. Changing the structure of something, not easy. I'm no Ron Pola. That guy was a Photoshop ninja back in the day. He's the first.
It still didn't look right.
That's probably why. Oh, that's great. Anyway, well, let's get our guest in here. Boom. There he is.
Hey, what's happening?
The man, the myth, the legend. It's good to have you back on the show, Caleb. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's good to be here.
You look at the setup you have, man. I know people listening in their car or in the woods or wherever they're listening. A couple guys say they listen in the deer stand, by the way.
Yeah.
Aren't going to see this.
Okay, if you're listening to this in the deer stand, stop it. No offense.
Yes, stop it. Stop it right now. There's a deer coming. Go.
Go kill it.
Put the phone down. Describe this setup. Just tell us where you are right now.
Yep. So this is the Outfitter Services main office, and Outfitter Services is going to be a booking platform for anybody that wants to go hunting. But I wanted an office that I could stand to be in. So that's what this is. So I was like, I need to make that inside as outside appealing as possible. So
yeah, we took a similar approach.
There's a fire rod. And you guys want to see the coolest part? This is my fidget spinner. It's a coat replica. It's unloaded for anybody that's at home. There's nothing in there. But have you guys seen Outlaw Josie Wells?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So
my dad
when he goes to hands the bad guys the guns, when they got him at gunpoint, where he goes hands them like this. This is how much I play with this gun. How much boredom I've had with it. I've got that down. So
look at that.
It's you just put your finger through there. Don't try this at home if you're not certified. Don't sue me. That's how you do that. That was a little bit random.
That's some tomfoolery you got going on over there. That's pretty great.
Sleight of the hand stuff.
You probably actually be pretty good at like some magic tricks with that kind of sleight of hand. I can't do that kind of stuff. Somehow I'd toss it in my own face, and yeah, it wouldn't go well. Well, so yeah, gosh, we have a lot we could talk about here because I don't know that this existed the last time we talked. You have Rise Up, you have Tappity, you have this guide service. Talk about this one first, and then let's talk about a couple others before we kind of get into the topic, which I think we've at least put in the title here that the topic would be about applying hunting to life, which I think is a great topic for the record.
Yes, so no, absolutely. If we were to start with Outfitter Services, the idea came to me about 3 years ago. How that came about, and I think my camera froze. Is it frozen on your side?
Yeah.
You just look a little tired, but it's okay.
Let me see if it's
okay.
Is our camera froze? Or is it just your camera? I think it's just your camera.
I think it's just me on my end.
Let's
I can
see
just
here.
keep talking with it, and it's either going to walk itself out or it's going to...
What kind of camera is it, real quick? Is it a DSLR?
Yeah.
Are you using a Cam Link?
Yeah.
They freeze up. They get hot and freeze up.
Just switch it to computer settings. Hang on, we'll fix this up. We ain't got time for this.
That's all right. That's all right.
We'll just do it there. So much for being fancy.
There it is. That'll work.
Okay. Can you see me all right? There we go. Will that do the job?
Yep. And we've been down that road, man. I can help you fix that after the fact if you'd like. We got to get you into our podcast. Yes. So talk about the different things you have going on and kind of walk us through each one of them for a little bit here.
Yep. So Outfitter Services was an idea that came to me about 3 years ago. How it came about is I was working for a guy. I met him at one of the big show conventions. I'll go and say the show. I met him at SCI. He had a really big booth, had the fanciest booth there. I was like, oh, this guy must have his stuff squared away, and he must be a good guide, a good outfitter. So I want to go work for him. So signed, did a contract and went to go work for him. And it turned out he was a really big crook. He didn't care about his clients. He didn't care about his guides. And I'm like, this guy, when you walk into the show, you would think he was the most squared away outfitter in Alaska because of how good he marketed himself, but he wasn't. So it's like, how do I create something that's going to allow people to go find whatever guide anywhere in the world, find who's the best? Because some of the best guides I know in Alaska suck at marketing, suck at selling, but they're the best guides in Alaska. So how do I give them the opportunity to be highlighted and get the bookings, find people, find good clients, and then on the flip side of it, how do I make these people that are crooks get found out or step up their game and become not crooks? So that's how the whole idea came. That guy, long story short, ended up leaving me out in the mountain for 26 days straight. Didn't drop off any new food. Just kept dropping off different clients. He would have a different pilot do that. So there I am. I ended up killing 5 grizzly bears, 1 black bear, and 1 moose without any new food coming in. There's no reprovisions. So anyways, I went from 180 pounds to 162. But it was a great time, even though I wanted to shoot that guy. So that's the story behind Outfitter Services. So it's coming soon. It's about to be launched. If you want to go follow the Instagram page, that's great. Just Outfitter Services, how it sounds. Outfitter.services, one of the two, however you want to spell it or pull it up. Go follow the page, and we're going to be launching the website very soon. And did you want me to explain Tappity on here?
Yeah, talk about it, man, because that's how you and I met to some degree. Like, we were at ATA in January, which feels like, whenever I talk about it, I say that was last year, because January feels like last year. I think you were wearing a really sharp looking suit. You came up to the Waypoint booth and you're like, hey, who do I talk to? And I was like, I'm not a Waypoint dude. I'm just a podcaster on their network. And then I think you had actually shown me Tappity right then and there. I was like, oh, cool. What is this? And you guys were one of the most talked about things at the whole ATA. You were actually helping the ATA by connecting people through your services with that. So please, that's the way that we met. I'd love for you to talk about it.
Yeah. So Tappity is a way for businesses, people that want to grow their social medias, real estate agents, is anybody that has something they want to share that information very quick and very efficiently. It uses NFC technology. So say I just meet you like we did at ATA show. I want to show you my information. I wanted to show you my moose hunting videos. I wanted to show you everything that I had. I can click that to the top of your phone, and in seconds, I can have all that information right there in front of you. You can hit save the contacts, and now you have all my info so we can follow up. Because follow-ups is the biggest thing. If you're trying to run a business, if you're trying to start something, if you don't know how to follow up, it's going to be tough for you. So it allows that to happen way easily. And there's an app behind it. You can go to the App Store, download Tappity. Tappity is spelled Tapidy. Download the app. It's super cheap. It's $20 and it's $36 a year, and it's going to help your business. So that's my elevator pitch for you.
That's a good one, man. It makes sense, especially at a place like that where their internet can be kind of spotty because there's so many people using it and taxing it and eating up that bandwidth. if you're using NFC near field communication technology, you're leveraging something that doesn't require that bandwidth. So you can just boom, load it up right then and there. I think that's brilliant. And then you don't have to say like, what's your LinkedIn or what's your Instagram, or it doesn't search, or you can't find it right. How do you spell your name? And then it just kind of breaks down. It makes that painless, so you can actually have a real conversation and get to know the person and not have to worry about fumbling around through your phone when you're trying to talk to someone and meet them for the first time.
Absolutely. And it replaces business cards, because something like 86% of business cards end up in the trash. And then if you're all lucky enough for that information to get entered into someone's phone, it's usually your first name. If you're lucky, your last name and phone number. You're not getting your email, you're not getting your business name, and you're definitely not getting your website most of the time. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't ever type in someone's website. Well, with Tapity, you can put all that information right into the contacts. They can hit done. And it's 3 clicks from time you meet them to having all your information saved in the contacts for all time until they're deleted or get a new iCloud.
That's dope. Let's talk about Rise Up, which is something that I am really fascinated by. So again, going back to ATA, when we met and we got past all of that Tapity stuff, you had shown me I like some sort of sizzle reel of you hauling a moose out of the woods and falling through this like swampy, nasty crap, and just it looked so raw. And I remember like calling the Waypoint guys over. I'm like, look, guys, I'm not in your business. I'm not a TV guy, but you need to see what this guy has on his phone right frickin' now. And I wanted to obviously talk about Rise Up, the topic being like how you apply some of these things into life. Your demeanor and approach to life, we got a lot of feedback when you were on our first episode. People were really impressed with just your demeanor, your stick-to-itiveness, and your ambition and ability to like rise up. You're pretty young, relatively speaking, and you've accomplished quite a bit. You talked on the first time you're here, your journey to becoming a guide and how you went through all that stuff, and it was just super impressive. So I'm excited to hear about what you're working on and providing a window into your world for other people to kind of see.
No, I appreciate all of that. And for all of the people that listened last time, it was a great opportunity and a humbling experience that you guys listened. And I appreciate all of that.
So what do you got going on with Rise Up then? What is it that you're working on with it? What is it? Like what do you want to share with folks?
Yeah, so Rise Up, it's essentially it's a passion project. If you boil it all down, it started when I was in high school. The idea of it was I was homeschooled for the longest time, and then it was like I went to public school, and I was like, all these people have to take the ACT, and they're shooting for the bare minimum that they can get to get into the college, instead of like, oh, the 36 is the highest you get on the ACT. That's what you should aim for. They just aiming for, okay, I need to get at 19 or I need to get at 21. And that was such a weird concept to me. So Rise Up stemmed from you should aim as high as you possibly can and try to be the best person you can and work as hard as you can today to be better than you were yesterday. And how Rise Up incorporates that is professional hunting just happens to be what I do and what I love and what I'm really good at. And I can go out and I can kill a really big animal pretty consistently because it ties back to, hey, there's fundamentals to hunting. Don't let them smell you, don't let them see you, and don't let them hear you, and know your area. Or at least figure out your area as fast as possible. So you get put in that area, you figure out the best area to take inventory is what I call it. So I'm going to get in Alaska, typically you want to find the spot where you can see the most ground with that blowing out the least amount of ground, because you have your consistent wind. And so you want to sit in the spot where you're not blowing out where you're hunting. So you find that spot and then you take inventory and then you see what's all going around. So that's what I do for a living, is I take people out and kill really big animals. And I wanted to share these experiences because the mountains teaches me a lot about life. I want to say that's where I've gained, I wouldn't call myself wise, but I've gained some wisdom from the mountains. It's when I'm out on a hunt and say I'm 15 miles away from where the airplane's going to pick me up and I have a fully loaded pack, I'm pushing 180 pounds, My knees hurt, my back hurts. I got a guy that wants to quit and give up. If I show any sign of weakness, even if I'm feeling it really bad, if I show any sign of weakness, it's going to get him down. So I need to figure out how to lead him and lead myself and make sure I'm in the frame of mind, because a lot of people today get caught up in like me, what am I feeling? What of this? And I think that's a mistake. I think you should view what are other people feeling and who do I need to be in this exact moment in time to lead these people around me, whether you're working at McDonald's or you're a CEO or you're a professional guide. You need to be thinking about what are these people around me need to make sure that they are in the best place. And for me, it puts me in a good place because you don't get caught up in the little mind game of yourself. It's like, okay, I need to make sure we get there. So that is a lesson that the mountains taught me. Is like, hey, I need to be a state of mind. I lead this guy, I lead myself, and I never let that guy get down to where he can't get back up again. And then you know what? We make it back to the airstrip, we go home, and that might be one of the greatest memories of his life because he pushed past his possible limits that he thought he could ever attain, and we did it together. So that's the 10,000-foot view of Rise Up, of kind of like how it started and what it means.
That's a great outlook to have. Speaking from experience working in the trades, nothing made your day or life worse than the guy that you kind of looking up to guide you and teach you things, turning around and biting your head off and telling you you're stupid or you're weak or whatever. So that's a great way to look at it, being positive and making it a good experience for them, because you don't want them, they spend all that money. You don't want them to go home saying, well, it sucked because the guy ripped my face off and he wouldn't help me get my heavy pack back. You're there being a cheerleader and teaching them the way.
Yeah, it's called leading from the front, and you're doing an excellent job of it. I what I'm interested in is, and those that listen to the show and have heard me talk in other places or whatever, for like the last 2.5 years, and Greg will just, put his palm to his face. I talk about Stoic philosophy and Stoicism and how that's really embedded into the fabric and the DNA of the Okayest Hunter brand. You seem to embody a lot of that Stoic philosophy, not having an ego, putting others first, trying to be the best person you can be. Like the mountains have taught you that, or have teach you some of those things. Have you had exposure? Did you read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius? Like, where else are you getting this? You are such a standout human in a world where it's so rare to see these types of traits, and it's just refreshing. I gotta say, man, it really is refreshing. It's one of the reasons that we like talking with you and following along with what you're doing.
Oh, I truly appreciate that. So ironically, it's kind of been backwards for me. So I've kind of started stumbling along these ways of thinking from the mountains and running into people. And since then, I've read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I've read Jocko's information. I've read Jordan Peterson's information, and then you go on into like Viktor Frankl. He's got a lot of good stuff. Man's Shorts Are Meaning's a really good book, but it's kind of happened after the fact. So I would say my roots came from being raised in a very like Christian household, and we weren't like Bible thumpers. I would say my mom and dad wasn't a Bible thumper, but they belief structure was very heavy along the Bible. So that gave me my roots, and then I kind of just went out on my own, and I started reading Jocko Willink, and that was kind of my start of reading. Was my first book I ever read was Never Split the Difference by Chris Ross, and
That was the first
I've
book?
been guiding for 3 years at this point, and that after reading that book and understanding, then I got on some book from Tony Robbins, understanding that I can gain wisdom or how to articulate myself from these books, these feelings I'm feeling inside of myself, like, hey, this is what you should do to succeed. I need to lead this guy is worth a lot of money. Maybe he's a doctor, maybe he's a business owner, so I have to figure out how to do it. And then now I can go back and I can study these books. And I just read Marcus Aurelius about meditations about 8 months ago, I want to say. After someone's like, "Hey, you got to read this. You have to read this." So I would say I was a mountain stoist first, and now I'm a book stoist.
Mountain stoist. That's pretty great. I love that. And Chris Voss has never split the difference. Boy, I tell you, anyone listening to this podcast, you might want to listen to that as you're negotiating time off to get in the deerwoods for your rutcation, or time to go out and negotiate with your wife or your husband. And that book is like the I don't know. I'll distill it down in the worst way possible. But if I am going to wear black shoes, my wife says, no, you need to wear brown shoes. If I split the difference, I'm walking out with one brown shoe and one black shoe, and that's a bad outcome. And there's ways that you can negotiate so that doesn't happen. And if I'm trying to negotiate more time in the woods from my boss or my wife or whatever, there's some pretty tactical tricks that you can deploy from that book that are very effective. So
it's such a good book. And go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No, that's it, man. We could nerd out on books all day long. Even the Marcus Aurelius one, the thing that gets me so excited about that book, and I read it cover to cover, which I don't recommend doing. It's not that kind of book. Now I just read it here and there and I pick up random pages, but it's written 2,000 years ago by a guy that ran, one of the biggest empires in the world has ever seen, and it was never meant to be published. He wrote it for himself, notes to himself. So as you're reading it, you're hearing this guy that was the emperor of the biggest known civilization at the time, and he's got all the same problems we have. I think there's like some sort of quote, I won't do verbatim, but it's like, you need to get out of the covers. Life wasn't meant to be cozy and warm in your covers. You got to get up and do the work of a human. Bees do work of the bees. They provide for the hive. Ants do work for the colony. They do work for the colony. You're a human. Go do work for human beings and get the hell out of bed. So I think my alarm clock every morning says, go contribute, get out of the covers. And that's from Meditations.
He's got a quote that I think about quite often. It's like, it's not death a man should fear never beginning to truly live. And that goes to the ladies as well. It's across the board. It's like, are you running your own life, or are you just going through the motions and living a life that you're on autopilot? You're not actually even living at that moment. You're just getting up and kind of
going through the motion,
cruising through life in a way.
Yeah. So this whole concept of there being too much ego in hunting, I've written about that. We've talked about that on the show. That's like a thing that, is a hot button here. But pulling these lessons from the mountains in hunting adventures into real life, you seem to navigate that pretty well. Like, you're not a poser. You're not doing anything for the fame or the glory. You're doing it to seemingly because you're just you want to be the best version of yourself and a good person. It's very obvious to see those things pulled through. And you've done some extreme things. So let's just, the folks that haven't been exposed to your stuff or seen you around or heard about you, maybe talk about some of those extreme situations that you've encountered, because Alaska's a different untamed world. And we live here Greg and I are in Wisconsin, in Oconomowoc. Yeah. And, I've never even seen a bear down here. I think Derek is out hunting. He saw a bobcat today. But, we're not having run-ins with grizzlies. We're not falling down mountain sides. We're not getting flown in and carrying out several pounds of gear and carcass. Let's talk about some of the extreme situations you've been in and some of the lessons you pulled out of or extracted that.
Yeah, so I'll tell you a story, because I can't remember if I sent you my photos from this fall. So I got the opportunity to go hunt my own Dall sheep. And that's been a lifelong dream. I've always been guiding, getting that done for other people, but not for myself. So I finally had the opportunity to go get it done for myself. So I'll tell that story behind that, if that's cool with you. So I get landed off in the middle of the mountains, middle of nowhere, on the south side of the Brooks Range. The guy that dropped me off from the north side of the Brooks Range. That, people that don't know, you fly in small aircraft, Piper Super Cubs, heavily dependent on weather conditions. If there's fog, if there's wind, put it in perspective. There was a guy, I met the guy, his name was Doug. I met him I'm going to leave it unlisted, but said airstrip. Hey, Doug, how you doing? Doug was a nice guy. I fly my separate way. Doug stays there and hunts. I get dropped off. I do my hunt. Was very successful on that hunt. Get back, waiting on the Stiffen airstrip for the pilot to pick us up. And then the pilot comes down and he's chit-chatting back and forth. And he's like, hey, did you hear about the airplane crash? I'm like, no, what airplane crash? And he's like, oh, there's this guy flying a yellow Piper Cub, and he crashed and died. I'm like, huh, that sucks. Was his name Doug? How did you know? He's like, I probably just met that guy before we got dropped off here. So in a matter of 8 days, a guy I just met died because of weather conditions. It was wind that got him. He flew up a canyon. He was flying up. You got downdrafts coming, and he realized he didn't have the power in the plane that he was in to climb out of that pass. So he went to bank, and he made a right-hand turn instead of a left-hand turn. And the engine helps you turn left, the rotation of it, where he went left and tried to turn right. So he was turning against the prop that was spinning, which caused him to do a stall. So he stalled, plane inverted, and he fell flat and he was dead on impact. So that backstory is to kind of like put in perspective how serious flying in bad conditions, you don't get second chances. So that being said, I'm dropped off on this side of the mountain. It's in September, later September, so weather can come in fast and hard and stay for a long time. So I get dropped off, and if a big storm comes through, I could be stuck there for who knows how long. I might have to walk out of there. So set up, looking at some lambs in the ewes, see some pretty ones. I'm feeling a little bit sick. I don't know if it was food poisoning. I don't know what I had. I just felt sick for like 2 days. So I hike up. I camp that night because you can't fly and hunt the same day in Alaska, which makes sense. So the next day I get up, climb up this mountain ridge. I'm kind of glassing. I didn't see any sheep that whole day. I kind of walk around and I get set up in a spot. I glass there until nightfall looking for sheep. I set up camp before nightfall. And then that night, a storm's supposed to come in. So the storm comes in, starts snowing. I end up getting stuck in the tent for like 36 hours roughly of the snow whiteout conditions. You can hunt in the snow, but you can't hunt when you can't see. So snow is coming down nonstop, and you don't want to get wet and cold because, if you get wet and cold, you get hypothermia and die. So always be careful on getting wet. So sometimes when it's nasty outside, your man instinct is like, oh, let's go and let's hunt. Nothing can stop me. Well, fact is, if your body temperature drops below a certain point, it's going to stop you. So stay dry when you can. Don't put yourself in a bad situation where you can't come back from. So I'm saying that as I stayed in the tent. I can't see, so you can't hunt, and I don't want to get wet, and I don't want to freeze to death. So I stay in the tent for 36 hours, 40 hours in there. I don't remember exactly. The storm passes, lifts. There's a bunch of snow on the ground. It's beautiful, totally beautiful. So then I start hunting again, and you got to watch out because now you can't see where you're stepping in. You're in the mountains. You can step in a hole and break your ankle, whatever else. So you got to take your time. I walk my way around. Hike. So at this point in time, I've hiked about 15 miles to get up to the top, and now I'm continuing. So I go up over this pass, down through glassing all the way. I see some really big caribou, but I'm not hunting a caribou. I'm after a doll sheep. As I go around, I'm glassing. It's pretty cold. I would say it's right. Well, I say pretty cold. It's not like cold, but it was probably about 28 degrees. So, when you stop, you get chilly. So make sure you change out your layers and just be mindful not to get too hot and sweaty when you're walking. Come around. Crazy story. I find another plane crash. It was an old plane crash. I only found bits and pieces of the plane. It was up on the top of the canyon. My guess is that the guy was trying to climb out of that. He turned in there and was trying to climb out and lost visibility and this wrecked into the side of the mountain. I only found bits and pieces of his plane. I got some cool.
Uh-oh. Are you still there? Froze up. Right at like the best part.
Yeah.
Totally froze. Stand by, guys. See if we can get this figured out.
Houston, we have a problem.
Internet connection 0 to 10 for Caleb. Let me see here. Stand by, guys. I try to get this back in here in just a second if I can. Oh man, that's a crazy story. Yeah, he's totally off now. So let's see if he can come back in. His internet dropped. I wonder. I don't know where his office is, if it's in Alaska or somewhere else. Oh, your mic's all the way down, bro.
There we are.
Trying to create more problems for me here.
Anything I can do to help.
Let me just take this mic away from my face so I can drink water, because that's important, actually.
It is important.
I know. Calder says in the comments, hurry, I'm on the edge of my seat over here. Yeah, I know. Me too. There he is. He's back.
And he's back.
I heard it make the noise that he's back, but I don't see him. That's new.
See no evil, hear no evil.
What's the deal? Normally it doesn't make that noise unless someone's joining. Let me just get the link back over to him again just in case. Copy. Text it here.
Need some trouble music from when we have problems like this.
Yeah, let's just a bit of intermission here. So we have is he back on? There we go. I don't see him. Is it us now? Are we having a problem?
Now you see me, now you don't.
It says connecting. Okay.
It's thinking.
So it says it's connecting on I'm texting with him, folks. That's what's happening here. But I don't see him on our end yet. So if I refresh on my end, I think it's going to take the whole thing offline. He should just rejoin. Man, technology is a pain in the butt, is what I think. I don't see you yet. Shoot, that was such a great freaking story. Come on. Tony in the comments, water, question mark, Greg?
Yes, Tony, water. Absolutely. Water.
It's almost like you have something to do tonight.
There's always something to do.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an okayest moment. Yeah, leave a test to have okayest moments. Hopefully we get him back here because it's a pretty compelling story. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share our call-in number with him, and if he can call back in, that will solve our problem. I'd like to call in. Thanks, Greg. I can hear something happening. Yep, I'm going to edit this whole thing out of the actual podcast.
Damn.
If you're watching live, this is like premium access
Well, you didn't
content.
bring your ukulele, so you're not entertaining us with that.
Calder went out this evening hunting. He didn't see a thing. The warm weather is putting a pause on the rut action, and we paused this rut activity to bring you, warm weather.
Hey, you got me?
All right, Caleb, we got you back, buddy.
He's back.
Hey, my Wi-Fi is totally just kicked the bucket at the worst timing. So.
Hey, it happens. I'm surprised it wasn't us. So I'll edit all that out of the podcast. And,
that's perfect.
We'll just keep rolling here. But you have people on the edge of their seat, man. Like people are showing up in the comments, and they're like, "What? Tell us what happened." So you're talking about the plane that you found.
Yeah, you left us with you were finding parts of the plane, and then it all went to hell.
Oh yeah, no, it was fun. I'll have to send you guys the videos of it. Those bits and pieces of the plane. I found a little bit of the engine cowling on the plane. I don't know how much you guys know about aviation, but you have the fuselage, and then you have the wings, and then you have cables that run back and forth like this to control you have a rudder like this, and then you have these, and then on the wings you have these. and then these that were counteractive. So I was able to find those cables, but the rest of it happened. I don't know when it happened, but a while back ago. Because as I walked out of that drainage, I found bits and pieces of the plane all the way down. So it's like I don't know what happened. He flew inside the mountain, and then over the last 10, 20, 30 feet, I don't know how long, it snows have pushed pieces of that plane all the way down that whole drainage. So that was interesting. So it's kind of stinks. You kind of wonder if that guy, well, he died. That guy definitely died. But you wonder if I don't think they salvaged anything. I think he just crashed and died, and they never found him. But it was interesting to find. So back on track on the hunt, find that, going down, make eyes with a really nice tall sheep. He had another legal ram with him, a couple smaller ones. I'm underneath him about a mile, and it's an hour and a half, 2 hours before dark. I wait, they go out of sight. I slide backwards, get into the drainage, and it's literally, I remember it was like 1,580 some odd yards. I forget it's 15 something. And it's straight up. Like there's a sheep, here I am. So I get in this drainage where they can't see me, and I'm drop my backpack because I got about 70 pounds of gear, and I'm about 35 miles into this hunt, roughly, something like that. And I drop my gear, I just grab my gun and my spot and scope, and I have my bino harness and pistol, and I freaking boogie it up that mountain. And I get up, there's a couple gusts that came behind me that pushed on my back, which I was like, oh, I don't like, you don't like that. You don't want the wind to your back, you want it in your face. So I get up to that little crest where I'm aiming at. The sheep was supposed to be like 200-300 yards away, pop up. But as I actually left out a little piece, as I'm going up, it starts getting kind of shitty, snowing a little bit. And so I get up there, and it's kind of crappy. Visibility is not too good, but the sheep are supposed to be right there, and they're not there anymore. So I go through my mind, what happened? Did the couple gusts of wind that came to my back blow them out? Did I just blow my opportunity of a dream hunt that I've walked 6 years to get the opportunity to hunt this animal? It's been a long road since from when I started professional hunting, professional guiding, to now I'm actually getting to hunt this animal for myself instead of just guided all the time. So it's like, oh, did I blow my shot? But in those times, you have to stay mentally focused. You can't let yourself get too down, because then you're done. Can't find them anywhere. Well, it's time to get back. It's still kind of snowing, crappy. I got to drop back down that mountain, get to my gear, which sometimes it's not, most of the time, it's not good to leave your gear, but this was like a Hail Mary. I'm going to go try to kill this sheep, and I just want to get it done. So I get back down to my pack right at dark. Like if dark was coming and I was running, it would have been a tie. So I get back to my pack, set up my tent, and I sleep in this really uncomfortable position because, like, well, this is where I'm at. It's already dark. I'm not going to go chasing around flat spots all night, so I'm just going to sleep here. Get up the next morning. This time I'm going up with all my gear. My pack's weighing about 80 about 80 pounds is what I'd guess it at. 80 pounds. I got 10 days worth of food. At this point in time, it's like 7 days because it's been 3.5 days. So 7 days of food, all the gear that you need. And I need to make a gear video. I will sometime, but just all that stuff that goes into living in the mountains in the winter time, sheep hunting. So all that stuff. Go up, get about 3/4 of the way up the mountain, camp out, so I'm not skylining myself. I don't want to camp where everything can see me. I want to camp where I'm high enough where if I kill something, I can get back right at dark or around dark. If I kill them in the evening-ish, well, it's not too far out of the way to get to it, but I don't want to go to the very top because now I just expose myself to a huge section of the area I'm trying to hunt. I don't want that to see me. So that's where I set up camp. That was my reasoning behind it. I get up, I spot 2 sublegal rams, two of the ones that were with the big one on this side of the mountain, and I see the big one, the other legal one, and another small one on the other side of the mountain. So sometime between that night or whenever, either I spooked them or they just grazed off. I don't know. those sheep went down that mountain, down that drainage, and up another one. So I again, if I would have let myself get down that first time I'm missing them, I would have never killed this ram because I would have quit instead of like, okay, I'm gonna give it another shot. So I see this ram, beautiful ram of a lifetime, run back around, get out of sight, drop down, come back up, go over the other side where they can't see me. I move way down, go up over, and now I'm on the other side of the mountain of where they were at because I climbed the mountain, went over, climbed the mountain, and now I'm coming up above them. Come up above them, and this is where I make a mistake, and I'm sneaking in, done everything so right, so up to this point, and I'm like into 200 yards right now. I like getting stuff as close as possible. I could have shot that sheep at 500 yards, but let's see how close I can get. I really enjoy stalking animals. So I'm getting in close, and all I have is, ironically, I have the puffy jacket. All I have is this puffy jacket on to strip all my other layers off to try to keep as cool as possible. But when you're running up a mountain, more or less, fast walking up a mountain, you get hot and sweaty. So I have that hot and sweaty jacket on, and then I'm sneaking up, and my backpack's about 6 feet away from me, and all these sheep, there's 6 of them are on this crack where they can't see me, but I know they are there. I can see the top of one of their horns, like this top of it, and so I'm sneaking up. Then all of a sudden, the 2 small ones decided to stand up, move about 10 yards to the right-hand side, and lay down and look straight at me. And so my backpack with all my other jackets is only 6 feet away from me, but it might as well have been 6 miles. Because if I move, I bust these sheep out of here, and they got. So they sit there looking at me, and if I.
Oh no! Did we lose you again? Shit! His network connection went down to 0 again. We're just at the precipice of the story. He's about to tell us exactly what happens, and his internet cut out again. Text. I gotta ask him where he is.
You need to find out.
Just to see.
Yeah.
If he's in the heart of Alaska, then it's like, it's crazy. I want to hear what happens. All right, we got you. Your internet must have cut out again, but you're back.
They pitched
I can hear
the Wi-Fi tonight on laptop, but I'm just going to finish this off on my cell phone. I'll deal with that again. I apologize.
Where are you at right now? Where is this office space you got?
At the moment, so all my ventures is out of Missouri. So is my girlfriend. So I'm in Missouri at the moment, from Alaska, quite a bit, going between the 2 spots.
Got it. Cool, man. Well, yeah, we'll have to have a talk.
Does the audio sound right on the cell phone?
Yeah, it sounds all right. It's all right. We got you. We just want to hear the story, man.
This is it's frustrating to say the least on my end of things. So.
Yeah, it's coming through a little spotty, but I don't have our phone number hooked in right now. So I'd say I could have you call in, but I'd have to set up some stuff on my end. So let's see how this goes. It keeps breaking up every couple of words. We'll see how it rolls out from here. It shows your reception is strong, so let's give it a go.
Okay.
You were just telling us
sounding now because I can try.
Yeah, it's breaking
You
up.
got me?
No, not super clear. Let me get our number hooked in real quick. It'll take 2 seconds, and I will edit this all out of the podcast itself.
Yeah.
Ready to connect. Click connect to show now. You are connected as the host. Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface.
Right.
Audio recording is on. Dual channel.
Call the number I just texted you, and we'll bring you in that way. And that should work better from like an audio standpoint. Yep. All right, folks, 1 second here. For anybody that's tuning in live, which there's a bunch here, it looks like, thanks for hanging in there with us. If you want to get this uninterrupted tomorrow, you certainly could. Looks like we've got a few people on YouTube and a few people on Facebook. So thanks for hanging in there with us while we get this figured out. All right, here we go. All right, Caleb, can you hear me okay?
Hey, I can. My internet came back on. Do you want to finish? Hang on, it's still acting up. Hang on. Hey, you got me? I can hear you. I just exit that out. It was acting like I was going to mess up again.
That's good. No, we'll just finish it up here because the audio with this is clean and we can work off of this. No problem.
Absolutely. I am so sorry about this.
Hey, no need to apologize for that at all. It's nothing you can help. It's out of our control. And it's Stoic philosophy. We can only control how we act at things. We can't control things.
That's right.
Amen. Oh, that's so true.
All right. So you can see like you locked eyes with them, or you can see the tip of their horns. And I think that's right where we lost you.
Okay. So did I tell you about the sheep popping out at all yet?
I think you were just getting to that.
Okay. So I can see the tip of the horns. I'm about 200 yards away. And then all of a sudden, these two subligurams, the little ones, pop out, lay down, and look right at me. And if I even move a little bit, like as I pick my binoculars up, they are like acting all spooky, like they about to get out of Dodge. So I'm in a wet puffy jacket, and my other jackets are 6 feet away. But if I go to get a jacket, my sheep hunt's over. I just spooked those sheep. And at best, I probably could have killed one, but at best, it's shooting a sheep on the run, which I would rather have a clean kill shot. They don't know what's going on. So those sheep lay there and stare at me for 2 hours. So this is like where you gotta control your mind, control your body, and do what you can do. Because I mean, I could have caught hypothermia pretty quick. It was to 28, 30 degrees. The wind was blowing on top of the mountain. And so in that moment, I could, give in to this cold and comfort and get my other puffy jackets and take the wet one off and become warm and comfortable again and mess up my sheep hunt. Or I could just wing it and hope for the best and start like shooting bullets down range. Or I can sit there and realize, okay, if I want this to work out how I want it to work out, I'm going to have to wait this big sheep out. And I'm going to have to sit here till he stands up and messes up and moves out of this crack. And that means I got to sit here and freeze my ass off and do body contractions and whatever I can do, like without moving, to keep my heart rate up and my body temperature up as high as I can. So I sit there and do that 2 hours. Finally, this sheep stands up, starts walking my way. It weaves in and out. It moves into about 180-ish yards, and I bang, sheep's dead. And it's so funny because when I was shooting that sheep, I was solid as a rock. Like, wasn't shaking, nothing. Wasn't even that. It's weird. I wasn't even that excited. I just knew what I wanted to do. Sheep gives me the broadside shot I want to. Again, squeeze the trigger. It's dead. And then after it's dead, I started shaking for like 40 minutes straight. I was so freaking cold. I was pulling that jacket off, putting on every piece of clothes I have, and that's how that turned out.
Holy crap! I honestly, the mental toughness you have to have, that little voice, that self-talk that says just give up.
Sheep hunting is one of the toughest things you can do. I mean, the elements are battling against you. It's not an easy animal to hunt.
I can't imagine just sitting there with my thoughts with that playing out as long as it did. The only thing that would have kept me from giving up would have been, I've come this far. If I stand up, it's all for nothing. That would have been compelling enough to try to, but then you're wondering, like, how long is this going to last? They have to move at some point. They have to get up at some point. And you must have just been on a broken record in your head about that. I don't know how else you could have got through it.
Yeah, well, I think the thing about it is you got to focus on the result, not the minute pain that you're in. So I was going to kill that sheep. and I was going to kill it clean, and I was going to kill it beautiful, just like I played it out in my mind. And anything but that was not acceptable. And I think how I rationalize that into my everyday life is same thing when things are happening around me. I'm trying to think of a good example on everyday life. Maybe it would be, let's go back to, I've been dating a phenomenal girl for 2 years, so I'm going to go back before that. You're in a situation and it's not what you want it to be. You can settle for that situation, or you know exactly what you want and you're not going to settle for that. So you're going to make sure that what the result you want to happen, you're going to do everything in your power to make that happen. You're not just going to settle for this relationship because it's easy. That's not, maybe you're working a job and you just, something of it's not coming easy to you, or it's like struggling. Well, stick through it. Maybe definitely if you're starting a business, it's tough. Things are not how you want it to be, but you know your prize and you know you can get there if you do X, Y, and Z. So don't focus on, oh, X, Y, and Z sucks. It's like X, Y, and Z, they are what they are. I mean, they are what they are. You can't do anything about it. It's what it is. So I'm going to focus on what I'm going to do, and I'm going to knock X, Y, and Z out one at a time. And I don't care how long it's going to be. I don't care if it's 2 hours or 2 years. This is what's going to happen.
That's like Dave Ramsey says, live like no one else now, so later you can live like no one else. And I think you could probably take that into hunting. Hunt like no one else now, so later you can hunt like no one else. I don't know if it applies there, but certainly you're making decisions now that have an impact on your life in a much more meaningful way further down the road. And if you can suffer through a little bit now, you can have some, what is, there's all these quotes, man, but like short-term gratification is like the first time you can start to like experience sacrifice for like long-term gains is the sign of a mature person. And so when you talked about the mountains providing you, or not that you're a wise person, but that you've gained a lot of wisdom, I can sense that and hear that in your approach for things, because you're willing to suffer now for the result that you want later. And that's hard. That's hard for people.
Yeah.
Like, this is so silly, man. I don't know. I think I've lost track now because I stopped caring about keeping track. But somewhere around the mark of like 3-4 months ago, I started taking cold showers in the morning. And I don't take the cold shower the whole way through. I'm not looking for all this weird credit. I'm not like such a badass, but I take my hot shower and I, clean up with all my soap and wash everything out. And then after that, it's cold. It's going to the cold knob all the way. And I don't do that because I like suffering. There's 2 reasons I do it. One, it actually does wake me up and it feels pretty good. There's all sorts of other dumb benefits I don't really know about or care about. But the thing is, if I can do one difficult thing now and I make the decision, I forget if it was like, I don't know which, if it was, what's the dude? You Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins, or somebody said like, look, MFer, the mind is in charge of the body, not the body in charge of the mind. So I'm using this cold water in my shower every morning to say, look, motherfucker, I'm in charge here, not you. This is not comfortable, but I'm trying to make a difficult choice to prove to myself that I can make difficult choices and do things that are uncomfortable. So later in the day, when I have to do something for work that I don't really want to do, I'd rather go do something else.
I thought you were saying you're going to tame down some morning wood or something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's effective for that. I mean, that's probably a great byproduct, Greg, if you're trying to like get out the door quickly and you're not trying to listen to the other head in the room. But I'm just saying, to have some discipline to make an uncomfortable decision and deal with some of that pain is having a longer. I actually do that. Like if I don't do it, and there's been, when I was sick last week and I didn't take my cold showers because I was like, F this, I'm sick. I'm actually not even doing anything today. So who cares? It was my thought. I was just miserable. And I'm like, God, last thing, I'm already cold because I had a fever. I'm not trying to like ice bath myself. But those days sucked when I didn't do that. I actually enjoy the days that I do that, which is basically every day now, more than the days that I hadn't done it in the course of the last several months. So, a little bit of suffering goes a long way, especially when you're hunting. Hunting is uncomfortable, man.
Well, I think you bring up a very important thing to think about is people like to to view, let's just say that the 1%ers, the billionaires, as cut from a different cloth. I'm blessed to know several billionaires that are all my clients, and the fact is, they're not. They're just like you and I, but what they've done is they're doing what you and I are doing. They've made all these hard choices every day, and those choices compound, just like compounding interest. I'm going to do this, even though I don't want to, because it's going to get me this result a year from now, or 10 years from now, or 50 years from now. And what happens is all those add up and all those choices compound because every choice that we make has a consequence. Doesn't matter. Everything we do, whether we do something or we don't do something, that has a consequence for the good or for the bad. So as we stack those good choices up, then the better our life gets. As we stack those bad choices up, guess what? It's the opposite thing. So we have at least there's some piece of our life that's out of our control, and that fact we can't control what Joe Blow does. We can't control what our parents do. What we can control is, I think it was I'm gonna misquote who said this, so I'm not even gonna quote it, but it was it's not the events that happen to a man that affects him, it's the view he decides to take on them. So we're gonna do the choices we can, and as these other outside events happen, we can't control them. We're gonna view them in the way that best benefits ourselves, the world, the people we love around us. And from there, we're going to keep making those compounded choices for the better. And then, we'll see how it ends up. You're going to do your best, and you're going to see how it ends up. And you might become a billionaire, or you might become a really damn good person. But being a really damn good person is a pretty good win. So that's the way I look at it anyways.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people waking up every day saying, I want to be a good person. In 10 years, they're saying, I want to be a millionaire in 10 years. And I think that's not saying millionaires are bad people, but there's enough people aspiring to do things other than to just be a good human. And that is a very admirable goal, and one I think more people should probably pursue. And the compounding effect thing is very real. If you, Ryan Holiday talks about placing votes, or like, your body records your decisions. If I choose to drink black coffee every morning, at some point, my teeth are going to reflect that, and my body has recorded those decisions over time. If I choose to have a donut every morning, I'm probably going to end up with a really rad dad bod, versus the chiseled six pack that you're probably rocking over there, because my body is recording those decisions. And how do you apply that to hunting? I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think about it. If I choose to do this thing that feels more difficult or challenging or less pleasant, Greg is an exemplar of this. This guy is a glutton for pain and filling his boots with swamp water. And it's not often that I hear that he didn't feel a boot.
You got to pay somehow.
Yeah, you got to pay your whitetail dues by you filling your boots up, and that's your payment.
That's part of it.
But even things like chasing whitetail in the Midwest, man, it's not always just walking out to the corn pile and hoping something walks past. You got to make something happen sometimes.
Well, I would say, so I grew up part in Alaska and part in Missouri, to be honest. My life's been pretty split between the two states since I was born. And so I know a little bit about Midwest hunting. And I would say it's getting up when you're supposed to get up and getting in the stand before dark. Sometimes that's not easy. Sitting there longer, passing up bucks, passing up like small, like whatever it is. And I'm not, me personally, I know what I want to hunt for before I go out most of the time. Every now and then I go shoot a doe just because I want meat. But typically I know what I want to kill. So whatever that image is in your mind, so like maybe I'm going after my first deer at age 30. If you kill a doe, freaking good on you. If you kill a spike buck, good on you. I'm not someone that be like, oh, you got to kill a big animal each time. That's what I want to do. But if you don't want to do that, it's your prerogative. So you got to have that image of what is your goal and what are you willing to give up to get that. So if you want to kill a big buck, you're going to have to pass up a lot of small bucks, a lot of medium bucks, and a lot of pretty good bucks to kill that big one. if you want to kill your false deal and you don't have a good hunting spot, well, you're going to have to put a lot more time scouting, figuring out where you can even get on deal. So that choice applies, like that, doing whatever it takes and picking difficult choices because it's going to give you the best results applies to everything, whether you're hunting ducks, bucks, or bulls, or Dall sheep.
Ducks,
It's all
bucks,
the
and
same.
bulls, man. That
Whatever it
sounds
takes.
like a good drink combination or something. But you're definitely you're spot on.
Well, I have to send you. I wrote a poem. It's called "God Made a Hunter," and that's one of the lines in it. So I didn't just come up on the fly. I wrote that down beforehand.
You're so humble. You could have just played it off like you're a genius in the moment. It's all good.
Yeah.
We've conquered the Wi-Fi problem. We can do anything now. Like that's great. No, I
I know. I'm so.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, man. I'm just dogging your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no. The Wi-Fi is something special. It's one of those incontrollable moments, but we conquered it. We did a phone call.
Yeah. You're pretty good at rolling with the punches. It was pretty impressive. Life happens. You just got to keep rolling with it, and it's fine. And we've been through this enough times in the last 2 years that we're no spring chicken when it comes to doing stupid technology things. But Missy in the comments said that sounds like a country song, and she's also defending Greg for getting swamp water up his boots, and she's heading to the woods now, and it's late at night to get her on her mower to mow the pasture. So thanks for tuning in,
hell
Missy.
Yeah.
That's great.
Go.
Well, tell people as a wrap up, bring the plane in for landing safely, because we've had enough plane crashes in this episode, which is terrifying. I've never met anybody that's discovered a crashed plane before until I talked to you. But where can people find the various things you have going on? Where can you direct them to for what you have? Oh,
absolutely. If you want to go follow me on Instagram, you can type in Caleb. It's CALEB, Stillions, STILLIANS, and that's going to pull me up on Instagram. You can type in Rise Up with Caleb Stillions. That's going to pull up the YouTube, the hunting shows. If you want to go follow Outfitter Services, that is outfitter.services. Just go pop that on Instagram. We're going to be launching that here soon. If you want to support us, we would love to have you as a client on Tapity. You just go to tapity.com. That's TAPIDY. And then from there, you can order your card, order your token, become a member, and we would enjoy the opportunity to serve you.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
I think that's all of it.
Yeah, it's a lot going on, but it's all good stuff. And it sounds like you're working on, building up a bit of an empire. And I, again, like watching and following along as the journey continues. Everyone that tuned in live, this will be in podcast land this evening. And we appreciate you listening this week. Thanks a bunch. And good luck out there in the deer woods or in the mountains of Alaska, wherever you are. And hopefully there's some good lessons you can apply to your life from today's episode.
Yeah, like if you're hot in the morning, go take a cold shower.
Thanks, Craig, for that.
Hey, may I thank you guys for having me on, and thank you to everyone that took the time to listen to this guy ramble on the phones. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to end the live broadcast, and Caleb will keep you on here for just a minute.